Hey everyone, Should Man here, and welcome to a video featuring Football Manager. Now, this is a sort of a one-off video. I'm a Man United fan, as some of you might know, and as most of you will know, Man United have been absolutely diabolical over the last couple of years, and it's really getting bad. So, I just want to do a video because I feel like this summer is going to be a massive summer for Manchester United. There's going to be a huge change, a huge fresh start, and I'm quite excited about that. I love the idea of that, and I want to do a video here just sort of showcasing what I would do and who I would buy. I'm big on bringing through the young players and making them better, so it should be a pretty cool video, this one. I've done all the transfers already. I've just used the in-game editor to do the transfers, and I've done it based on values I've seen in the papers and tabloids knocking around. So the values are not going to be 100%, don't get me wrong, but they're values that are being touted around in the papers and so forth. So first of all, I will go to our transfers. We'll start with the players sold. So Marcos Rojo, I've moved to Sporting, back to where he came from in Portugal for 20 million. Ashley Young, 10 million to Watford. I think that's probably a little bit optimistic for me, but, you know, hey-ho. Matteo Darmian to Juventus for 15 million, pretty strongly linked, that deal. Lukaku to Inter Milan for 80 million, seen that a lot recently in the papers with the new manager coming in, and he's making Lukaku his #1 choice. Phil Jones to Everton for 20 million, I can see that happening, why not? Antonio Valencia to Inter Milan on a free transfer. Lee Grant moving to Salford City for £1 million, that could happen. I mean, that's one that I've just put together, to be honest with you, but yeah, that could happen, and it'd be interesting. Salford, of course, in the League 2, so that'd be interesting what happens. Ander Herrera, we know, is leaving on a free transfer to PSG, which I'm absolutely gutted about, but hey-ho. Alexis Sanchez to Juventus for 35 million. Quite cheap for Sanchez, but of course it's because of the big wage demand involved. Paul Pogba to Real Madrid for 165 million. I'd take that any day. I mean, if they offer me that, I would take that any day. Ethan Hamilton and Matthew Wilcock are two deals that are already confirmed for the summer. Moving to Rochdale and Crawley. I think the two teams have been on loan at. And finally, Juan Mata on a free to Barcelona. So we lost 3 good players on free transfers. Valencia, Herrera and Mata. I know we have offered Mata a new contract. I don't think he'll accept it, but it's worth a try, isn't it, I suppose? What can you do? So that together is £347 million. Like I said, that's just going by what I've seen in the papers and on the internet of values linked to those players. Of course, there's also talk of other players leaving, like Anthony Martial, but I do believe he will stay. And De Gea as well, I believe he will stay for at least another season. But you never know what could happen. I mean, if De Gea goes, that's another, I don't know, 70, 80 million pound you can put on the transfer kitty. But of course, then you've got to pay big for a new goalkeeper as well. Now, this is the players that I have put together. I mean, most of these are pretty much linked with us. I mean, every single one of these players has been linked to us at least once, and these are players that I would love to see come into us, and players that I think would really improve the squad. I mean, selling players like Pogba for 165 million funds 3 of these transfers, 4 if you include Daniel James. And that'll be the one we'll start with. So you can ignore Fred, of course, it's just the way the game works. It's Fred came in last season, so we'll ignore that one. First of all, we'll go and look at Daniel James. So the young Welshman, and 20 years old, can play up both the wings. Pretty good player. Don't know if he's going to quite be ready to play at the top end of the Premiership, but definitely a player we could look to build up. Maybe he'll sit in the under-23s for a season, I'm not sure, but it's a big investment. Hopefully it does work out, but I don't think he's going to be a real instant success at Manchester United, but it is a deal I would like to see happen. Next up, the two that are really big at the moment. João Cancelo from Juventus. Great right back. He's been one of my favourite right backs for years on this game. I've been trying to buy him, of course, when he was across in Portugal at Benfica. And then when he was at Valencia as well, I used to buy him quite a lot. Then he went to Inter and became very expensive. Of course, moved to Juventus last season, but now he's linked with us. I think Juventus have really made a massive sort of investment with the likes of Ronaldo, and I think they're struggling to pay wages and so forth, which means that, of course, financial fair play comes in, and they need to sell some players. So Cancelo could come in, and Darmian could be part of that deal. It could be a trade deal with Darmian going to Juventus and Cancelo coming into us at the same time. Next up then, we have got Paulo Dybala, who is... he's been very much overshadowed this season by Cristiano Ronaldo. And again, it's a player that I think they do need to sell to try and balance the books up a little bit. It'd be a fantastic signing for us. Well, I say that, I mean, I've always known he's a good player, but I think sometimes he's been sort of overrated here and there. But we'll see what happens if it does go through. I mean, I think he's a very good player and a player I would love to see in Man United. And hopefully, with that work rate of 14, that teamwork of 15, he'll be a good player for us. Next up then, Ruben Diaz. Of course, one of the Portuguese trio will be linked to this summer. This is the centre-back and looks like a cracking player. 1 Portuguese cap. I mean, to be 21 years old, to have 14 heading, 16 marking, and 15 tackling. And those mental attributes are fantastic as well. So I feel like he'll be a great signing. Again, he's quite young. I wouldn't expect him to be amazing straight away. I think all these transfers are going to take a couple of years to really start to reach their sort of peaks or so. But as long as Man United play better this year and as long as they push and fight for a top 4 position, hopefully more than that, but as long as they get in the top 4, that'll be the main goal. And I think if they do get these young players, they can develop over the next couple of years and they can just become better and better. Next up then, I've gone for Bruno Fernandes, a player who we've been linked with a lot, and I didn't realise how good he actually had of a season. I think I might be wrong here, but citation needed as always. I believe he's had over 20 goals and over 20 assists this season. He's been absolutely incredible. Obviously, I know that's just the Portuguese league, and people say it's a much easier league, but it's a very, very good return from any player. And it's a player that Manchester City are trying to buy as well. It looks like it's between Manchester City and Man United at the moment fighting for this guy. So hopefully Man United will come out on top because I think he'll be a fantastic signing. And with that sort of creativity, seeing what we were like end of the season, I think that's definitely what we need in the middle of the park. Talking of creativity, we can also go for João Felix, the 18-year-old Portuguese lad. Absolute stunner. He's going to be a fantastic player, and I really do hope we get a hold of him. Again, another 50-odd million. But I feel like he could be a real star and the next Cristiano Ronaldo. And we've seen a lot of Solskjaer talking recently about how he doesn't want to buy a Cristiano Ronaldo, he wants to buy the player that becomes Cristiano Ronaldo, which is very much the same way that I am. I don't want to go out there and buy a world-class player. I want to buy the player that is going to become world-class in a couple of years' time. Less of investment, less of a risk, and hopefully it'll be the right player. And I feel like João Felix could be the one. And considering he's Portuguese and the positions he plays, I mean, he is literally a new Cristiano Ronaldo, isn't he? So next up then we got Delete. Now, I've been a bit kind on this one. I mean, I would personally throw the bank at him, but I understand that it looks like teams seem to change every day. I mean, you go on the internet every day. One day he's joining Man United. I mean, yesterday he was apparently a shoo-in for Liverpool. Today he's a shoo-in for Barcelona. I mean, he's probably going to be a shoo-in for Man City tomorrow. It's until this guy is confirmed. I mean, he's got the entire world fighting for him, and I really do hope that Man United jump in there and just steal him. Just throw the bank at him. He's going to be a fantastic player. He's only 18 years old, and he could be with us for 10 years, 20 years. Next is a deal that I really want to happen. That's Yuri Tielemans. Of course, he's been on loan at Leicester this season. The Premiership had a very, very good season. Leicester are trying to buy him, but apparently I've seen that both Man United and Spurs are trying to jump on that deal. He's a young player. I think he's a good player. I think he's going to develop pretty nicely. Of course, he's only 21, and that's what we need. More youth, more players that are going to fight for a position and want to showcase what they can do every game. We've got a lot of players at the moment that are really living off their name and not really showing their ability, and we want those players to be hungry and to want to show us exactly what they can do. Next up, one we're linked with quite a lot then, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'm not quite sure he's going to be good enough to be our first choice right back, but I think playing as the second choice behind Cancelo is going to be a really good place for Bissaka. 20 years old. I think he's going to have a good season. I think he's probably better than this now. Of course, this game is from the beginning of the season, so he's probably developed a bit more now, but I think he could be a good player for us. I've seen him play a few times this season. I watch a lot of the Premiership games, and he seems to be a really handy player, and hopefully a player we can get a hold of as long as the value is not too high. I've gone for 25 million, which I think would be a very reasonable deal for us. Next up, of course, with Fulham being relegated, there's quite a lot of clubs looking at Ryan Sessegnon. Again, a bit like Wan-Bissaka, not quite sure he'll be first choice for us this season. However, I think he's going to be a good player. Maybe a player we might loan out. Maybe loan him to a championship side or a lower Premiership side. It's going to give him a full year's Premiership experience, but a player that I feel like would be a really good option and a good backup to Luke Shaw if we do keep him. That would be a decent trio down that left-hand side. Luke Shaw, Ryan Sessegnon. On the right-hand side, Wan-Bissaka. And, of course, Cancelo. And then you could have Diego Dalot covering right back, left back, right midfield and left midfield, because he's really versatile and a fantastic player as well. And the final player, I think Wilfried Zaha. I mean, he's had a fantastic season. And one thing the Football Manager's got in place, I don't know if this is true in real life as well, but Football Manager's got in place that he has a 50% of his sell-on value comes back to Man United. So if we buy him, we get half the money back, which is fantastic. So that worked out pretty well. I've watched him play a few times this season. He's absolutely fantastic. And I feel like it is something that I would love to see. I think he's said in a few interviews in the past that he harbours no bad blood for Man United with his previous run. It wasn't the right time, it wasn't the right manager, but now it might work out better for him. And the only thing that might be holding us back is that he's 25 years old. He wants to get in the Champions League, and we can't offer that this season. But if he buys into the project, then we might be able to. I mean, it depends who else looks at him, I suppose. If the likes of, I don't know, Arsenal might go for him. He'd be a good player for Arsenal, actually, a really good player for Arsenal. Chelsea, of course, with the transfer ban can't do much. Liverpool always seem to buy attacking midfielders no matter what, so they might be a threat for that one. Spurs, I think, would look at it, but it depends on their budget with the new stadium and all that sort of stuff. So I think that he might not have a lot of choice, and Man United might be his best option, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. So with all that, this is the sort of basic lineup I've gone with then. So with De Gea in goal, debatable. Shaw, Bailey, Diaz, Cancelo. Probably wouldn't be Bailey. I think it would probably end up being Lindelof, to be honest with you. So Shaw, Lindelof, Diaz, and Cancelo. Fred and Fernandes. I like Fred. I mean, I think he needs more time. I think it would probably end up being Matic and Fernandes to start things off, just for Matic to have the experience across the team. Then Felix, Dybala, and Lingard with Rashford up front. And it'd probably end up maybe being along this sort of lines if we had all these players, or what. I don't know. I mean, I've got a bit over the top. I don't think we'd sign both Delete and Diaz. I think that'd probably be too many players. I don't think we'd sign both Felix and Fernandes, but I really hope we do. I think that'd be a fantastic summer and it'll really improve the squad. So this was supposed to just be a one-off video, but to be honest with you, I'm really tempted to play this now and see how we get on. But I've just remembered I'm doing this in one of my custom databases. You know what we could do, because I love this database. You guys might enjoy it as well. I'll tell you what. I'm going away for a couple of weeks. I will think about it while I'm away for the couple of weeks, and I think I might actually go forward and play a bit of a career mode using this team. I might have to add some more players to it as well, because my custom database is crazy, and we'll go through that if I do play this. I'll go through that because there's a lot more competitions. The league system's different that I've got in place. You may have seen before there's 24 teams, so it's a real interesting database. But okay, if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit a like and of course subscribe if you want to see some more. Let me know what you think Man United will do in the summer. Do you agree with some of the transfers I've made? Do you think that there should be more players leaving? Do you think there should be players leaving that I let go that probably should stay or will stay? Let me know what you think, and we'll have a bit of a chat down the comment section down below. Anyway, I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon for some more Football Manager action. Bye.